Memorial Day, this weekend, guys. We celebrate with picnics, swimming, kicks off summer. But do you guys really know the true meaning behind Memorial Day? We're going to talk about that. It's important. Hey, so Memorial Day, what is behind Memorial Day? As we get with family and friends and we go have picnics, go swimming, we celebrate, how many people do you know when they get together are actually talking about what Memorial Day really is? I've been to many Memorial Day picnics not hearing anybody talking about what Memorial Day is. They make it about themselves, about how they just, and I'm not saying that towards anybody that has had a family member in the military that has, okay, I'm not going there. I'm just saying there isn't too many people that really talk about it. I wrote some stuff down I feel is really important. Memorial Day was first widely observed in May of 1868. All right. The celebration commemorated the sacrifices of Civil War, and the proclamation was made by General John A. Logan. Following the proclamation, participants decorated graves of more than 20,000 Union and Confederate soldiers. 20,000 guys. That was in the Confederate War. That's a lot of people. 20,000. Man. In 1971, Memorial Day was made. 1971, on Memorial Day, it was made a national holiday. Okay? Ronald Reagan had a speech that it was 1986 that he talked about. He gave us a famous speech in 1986 at Arlington National Cemetery. And it goes like this. Today is the day we put aside to remember fallen heroes and to pray that no heroes will ever have to die for us again. It's a day of thanks for the valor of others, a day to remember the splendor of America and those of her children whose rest in this cemetery and others. It's a day to be with family and to remember. You know, guys, there's a lot of men and women that died for this country, and there's a lot of men and women still serving for this country. There's a lot of veterans that have served our country. Why is it that it seems like you have a lot of veterans that are homeless? Why is that? Why do you see a lot of veterans that are sitting on the street when they have sacrificed their life, or they have given their everything for this country? That's disturbing to me. It's disturbing to know that you have veterans of war that have no place to go. That is disturbing. I understand that it's a choice, guys. Okay, they say, well, it is a choice. Okay, but come on now. If you've never been to Arlington National Cemetery, I suggest you go. It is just walking at Arlington, the history that's there. And if only we knew most of the stories or half the stories coming from that cemetery. I can't even imagine. Arlington, this place of so many memories, is a fitting place for some remembering. So many wonderful men and women rest here, men and women who led colorful, vivid, and passionate lives. There are the greats of the military, Bull Hazley, and the admirals Lay, Leahy, Lay, something like that. Father and son, Blackjack Pershing, and the GI's General Omar Bradley. Great men, all military men. But there are others here known for other things. Here in Arlington rests a sharecropper's son who became a hero to a lonely people. Joe Louis came from nowhere, but he knew how to fight. And he galvanized a nation in the days after Pearl Harbor when he put on the uniform of his country and said, "I know we'll win because we're on God's side." Audie Murphy is here. Audie Murphy of the Wild Courage. Yeah. You know, it says that all these men were different, but they shared this in common, that they all loved America very much, and there was nothing they wouldn't do for her. And they loved her with the sureness of the young. It's hard not to think of the young in a place like this, for it's the young who do the fighting and dying when a peace fails and a war begins. Not far from here is the statue of the 3 servicemen, the 3 fighting boys of Vietnam. It too has majesty and more. Perhaps you've seen it. There's 3 rough boys. I remember seeing that in the cemetery. There's a lot of veterans. I do know that every Memorial Day they gather at the wall, the Vietnam War wall. And they're still helping each other. It says that they were quite a group of boys, Vietnam boys who fought a terrible and vicious war without enough support from home. Boys who were dodging bullets while we debated the meaning of the battle. It was often our poor who fought in that war. It was the unpampered boys of the working class who picked up the rifles and went on to the march. They learned not to rely on us. They learned to rely on each other. And they were special in another way. They chose to be faithful. They chose to reject the fashionable skepticism. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Of their time. They chose to believe and answer the call of duty. They had the wild courage of youth. They seized certainty from the heart of an ambivalent age. They stood for something. You know, I used to work with a gentleman who fought in Vietnam, and I can remember, I loved hearing his stories, and I remember him telling me the war was now over. We were coming home. And he returned to California to have the American people calling him and a group of other guys baby killers. The things that he told me, the things that he saw, the things that he experienced, put him in a psychiatric hospital because he couldn't go back into society in the condition that he was in. It was a savaged war. It was I'm not even going to go into telling you the things that he had seen and what he experienced. Folks, we need to remember all the people, the men and women that served our country to put us to where we are today. Those that are still serving today, those that are veterans. Sit down with a veteran, man, and listen to his story, because some of them don't want to talk about it anymore. some will. And I think it's all history. These men and women are part of history. They were there, okay? They all have a story. I have a coworker who just told me today that he just found out yesterday that his best friend was killed overseas. Now, I can't remember exactly where he said, but he was in the military himself. He's still young enough. He already re-enlisted to go back. He said, if anything, it just made me, it angered me that it happened to him, that he died, but yet he wants to go back into the service for another duty. So he had actually already done that, and he'll be leaving very soon. My hat's off to him. You know, guys, I can't imagine. I have not served in the military, but I have always, when I see a veteran, I thank them. Okay? I just think it's, you don't know what these men and women have been through. You have no idea what they may have seen. I worked with another gentleman that was in, it was in the desert, is it Desert Storm? Is it the Desert Storm War? And he actually saved his own platoon. A group of guys, a group of men that was in his platoon, he actually saved their lives because there was a, let's just say the enemy was right on them and was just getting ready to take them out. And he actually shot and took care of it. He was considered to be a hero. Today, still today, he has nightmares. He was telling me that he has nightmares because he shot and killed a man, even though it was the enemy. He has nightmares of that. The look on the enemy's face, it scarred him, and he still is affected by that today. Guys, war is never the answer. War is ugly. It's, you know, Memorial Day. Let's just talk about Memorial Day. Memorial Day, let's just take the time. Okay, let's take the time and let's thank a veteran. Okay, and thank all the men and women that have served our country, whether they're deceased or not. Just thank them. Okay, that's all I got. Okay, instead of going and sitting down, go and sit down with somebody and eat that burger and that hot dog. If they want to talk about it, it's really interesting stuff. But all these people that have served our military have stories. And it is as if they were forgotten. And why do we have a problem here with homeless veterans? What is up with that? Why are veterans homeless? Some say it's a choice. Others say it's not a choice. I mean, I don't get that, man. I just don't understand why veterans are homeless. It's like they had been forgotten. But up here in their heads, you know, they served our military. Some have gone to war, and they carry them scars with them every day. And they're sitting on corners of the city or just begging somebody for $1. Yeah, there's something wrong with that. I'm going to leave you guys with that. Have a great and safe Memorial Day. Let's not forget, okay? Let's not forget. I'll see you guys in the next video.